Hi guys, welcome to Full Time Devils. The FA Cup is back in action, and this time it's Shrewsbury Town for Manchester United. It's going to be easy, isn't it? Nah. Anyway, let's move on from that and to a man that has been all over the Twitter sphere, headlines, newspapers, whatever, you name it. Louis Van Gaal. How is he still in a job? And we're going to come to Josh here as we've not had you on for a while. Josh, what is going on?
Mate, I don't know. It's difficult to explain why he's still in a job. I mean, people have been sacked for lesser things, really. Poor form, rubbish football. The squad is decimated. I mean, how have we gone into the season with one senior striker? I mean, there's so many questions that we just don't know how to answer. I mean, my gut feeling is Ed Woodward is clinging on. His job is probably sort of inherently linked to Louis Van Gaal's success because he doesn't want to be hiring two sort of, rubbish managers who basically in the last 3 years, it's pretty much been a bit of a disaster from top to bottom, hasn't it? So I'm thinking that's probably where it's coming from. The Glazers don't know anything about football, so they're leaving the decision-making up to Woodward, who knows maybe just a little bit more than them. So it's all pretty much a perfect storm for the last 3 years for the club to really deteriorate. And I suspect it's him clinging on, really.
Ben, are you surprised to see Van Gaal in a job? And does it show strength at the club to stick by LVG, or do you think there's a plan to replace him? It's just not going to happen yet.
I would be more shocked if United had a plan than to see Louis Van Gaal be sacked. That's the place I'm at the moment. The fact of the matter is I said this on my review. You know, it got to December and we were all a little bit like, look, we're on this bad. 8 games, no win. We were on that bad run of form. We were like, right, Louis got to go. He came back. He got a couple of back-to-back wins. Okay, have the performances improved? No, they haven't. Have the opposition got harder? No, it's got easier since. And we're still not putting teams away. Michelin was the final straw. I think after the game against Michelin, that was the first time that I properly sat there and was like, I can't defend him being in a job anymore. And I didn't even say that about Moyes. I know that's a completely different discussion, but I didn't even say that about Moyes. The fact of the matter is Louis Van Gaal at the moment is in a job because Ed Woodward's pride is on his shoulders. And Woodward doesn't want to see 2 failed managers in a short space of time. How would that look to investors? How would that look to salespeople? How would that look? At the end of the day, the names being thrown around, the one name is Jose Mourinho. Now, to me, if I was a potential investor in Manchester United or someone who wanted to buy something off the club, if I was Adidas, if I was a Chevrolet, if I was a shirt sponsor, yeah, Jose Mourinho is going to be the next Manchester United manager. There'd be more money in there anyway. I don't see how we can lose on this situation right now. I think the only way, and I think the only reason why he hasn't gone is because they're not sure about Mourinho. And if they're not sure about Mourinho, you've got to look as a Manchester United fan and be really worried. Who can we get in? Who can we have beside Mourinho? Who could fix this? Giggs? Who else is there? There is no one else. So to answer your question, yes, I'm surprised Van Gaal's in a job. No, I do not think there is a plan at the end of this. I hope so, Adam. I really hope so.
Connor, welcome to Full Time Devils, by the way.
Thanks for having me.
I know people at home probably thinking, who's this guy? That's Connor, the Shrewsbury Town fan. From the outside looking in, Connor, what do you make of it? I mean, because you've obviously seen all the headlines, you've seen it all on TV.
Yeah.
Are you surprised? As surprised as us that Louis is still in a job, or do you think the fact that we've got 14 injuries is a valid excuse for him?
Injuries obviously is a massive part because you're losing probably some of your better players. I mean, the squad that's injured is probably better than the squad you can put out at the moment, I think, personally. From the outside looking in, I mean, as a Shrewsbury perspective, a lot of fans wanted our manager out about halfway through the season. Mainly because the teams we got promoted with are all of a sudden looking to get promoted again, and we're struggling for a relegation battle. So a lot of fans wanted him out because of that. United, yeah, they're the biggest club in the world. A lot of Shrewsbury fans are looking at it. I don't see how he's in the job. And like you said before, there probably isn't many other managers at the moment, apart from Mourinho, that could step in and take over from him, apart from Giggs. Is the only one I could see looking in that could step in for Van Gaal. Since Guardiola's now gone to City, and the only other one maybe is Pellegrini. but I don't know if that'll be right for United.
Please no.
That's the thing.
No,
There's no big managers there apart from Mourinho that could take over from Van Gaal. There isn't.
I think that's like because everyone knows I've had tweets getting retweeted from about 2 years ago, last night where I've always been against Mourinho being at Manchester United. Simple fact I don't like him, but even for someone like me now, it's obvious that Jose Mourinho is the best choice. With Ryan Giggs, it's as much as it's a dream scenario that he comes in, takes over, and wins everything. That's not very likely. He hasn't got the best foundations to build on. And he's inexperienced. We can't afford a project or a risk like that. So I'm not surprised Jose is in the frame. And I am surprised LVG is still in a job, despite how much I do personally like him. I like him as a manager, but he just doesn't seem to be giving us the LVG we all thought we were going to get. Yes, I know his style of football isn't suited to Manchester United. But even then, at times with Ajax and Barcelona, Bayern Munich, Holland, they played some fantastic football, and he seems to have just totally misjudged the Premier League. I remember after the 5-3 defeat against Leicester, he went into his shell again and started playing really negative football. And then after that, we played, was it the Diamond? And we beat City, beat Spurs, beat Liverpool, and then he stopped playing it again, and he stopped playing the players in that. It just doesn't make sense, and he doesn't seem to be helping himself along the way.
Can I say, Adam, just quickly?
Yeah, sure.
Can I just quickly say, like, in terms of, you mentioned it there, the style of play, and a lot of United fans, a lot of people looking in are going on about how Van Gaal isn't the man because of his style of play. For me, it's not even about the style of play anymore. For me, it's about the blood that has quite clearly been sucked out of the team, and the blood that's quite clearly been sucked out of him. My big point on the review was the fact of that crest on the shirt. That heart, which was always on the sleeve of those players, whether you was Roy Keane, whether you was Nicky Butt, whether you was David Beckham, whether you was Cristiano Ronaldo, they always wore that badge on their sleeve. They always went out there and put in a shift. Now, I've watched the highlights again. I've watched the game twice now.
And you watched that again?
I watched it again. I watched it again because I said that Memphis played well in the first half, and a lot of other people were saying that he put in no effort at all. I watched every player on that pitch, and I cannot say one of them put in 100%. And then you also look at the bench, and Van Gaal sat there the whole game. Now, I'm not one for saying a manager has to come and stand up and do somersaults on the touchline. I'm not saying that. But at least have some raw. At least have some passion about you. At least have some spice. And that's it for me, Adam. The passion's gone. I don't know where the passion is at the moment.
His age, though, because
Sir Alex was still on the touchline. He's older.
Joshy.
I mean, I don't know that this whole argument about passion and, everyone talks about passion, it's not about that. I think, well, it's not completely about that. I mean, I think that just like you said, the life's been sucked out of the squad. And I don't know that it's not that, I don't know that they don't want to win or they don't have pride or whatever, but, it's just all just gone flat. Okay. And I don't know that, I mean, passion is such a soft thing to be talking about, you can put in loads of effort.
Right? Love of the club, the passion for the club, the sort of the love of the crest, the love of the badge. That's sort of what I was trying to relate to.
But Juan Mata, he does sort of show that with, but he's also underperforming. I don't know that it is all, I
don't think you have to love the club to perform well.
Yeah, exactly.
I think, do you think the injuries are down to, because I've had this discussion with a lot of people, and I've said, although I believe Louis van Gaal has to be sacked, I think he has to go now. It's been too long. But I've always said that he isn't the biggest problem. Like, is the lack of a squad now down to years of underinvestment, or is it Louis van Gaal's fault? Has he had enough time? Should he have been doing better?
From that squad point of view, it's a multifactorial thing. I mean, we had years of underinvestment, and then they've been trying to catch up in terms of their expenditure. And I don't know that it works like that. You can't build a squad like that. You've got to build it over time, bring in players, get them into the side, bring them through the youth team, and really build the squads. And that just hasn't happened. So yeah, that's difficult in the first instance anyway. So he's coming into a team that needs rebuilding, and he's bringing in all these players, new coaches. So there's going to be a bit of difficulty there in the first instance. So you give him a bit of slack. But at the same time, he's inherently involved in going into this season with Wayne Rooney as our only senior striker. And let's face it, he's not been in great form over the last few years. To pin your hope on him is in itself foolhardy. And then you haven't got any backup. The backup was okay. So Martial's come on, but he was a young kid. You don't know how he's going to come through. And yes, he's done really well, but he's not a senior striker that you can perhaps rely on for 20, 30 goals a season. He gets rid of Robin van Persie, Chicharito, Falcao as well. They all left, which is fine. I'm good with that. Whatever. They had their issues. They needed to go. But you've got to bring someone in. You've got to bring someone in to replace those goals that you've lost, or at least that presence within the squad. I mean, Rooney is the only senior striker. That was never going to work for me. And similarly at centre-back, he came to season not really with a senior centre-back in there, someone that you could really rely on and say, yeah, he's going to stand up and consistently play well throughout the season. No Rio Ferdinand, Vidic type player that's there. And then the backups that are available, you're not sure how they're going to be. Phil Jones always injured. Rojo's had problems with his injuries and form. Daley Blind, I don't think is a centre-back. He's done well. And I think considering his stature and lack of pace, he's done well. He reads the ball well, reads the game well, and distributes the ball well. But, it's not a centre-back partnership. And again, that's just two areas where I would just say is pure negligence. Let's not start on the fullbacks. Luke Shaw gets an injury. One player gets an injury. Suddenly the whole fullback area is screwed over. We're playing Ashley Young, Antonio Valencia. They're not natural fullbacks. You bring in Darmian, fine, he's out, but then then who's the backup? This is where the issues lie for me, that he's saying that he wanted a small squad to bring through the youth players, which is fine, but when you're going to season with severe deficiencies and then having to rely, that Wolfsburg game, the state of that team, it's ridiculous. And that's not all on Van Gaal, because I have a feeling that there's pressure from above in terms of getting rid of players, cutting wage bill, and Woodward probably wants certain players, etc. But he's going to be inherently involved in that, and it's a big part of why the squad is looking pretty shoddy right now.
Before we move on to 11s, Connor, Ben, anything to add to that?
Not really, no. I think you
that means you nail on the head there, Josh.
I think you hit really well on the head for probably what most United fans think, yeah.
Right then, I'll come to you first, Ben. What's your Manchester United 11 for this game? Have you made any changes? What you thinking, Ben?
I don't even know who's fit or not at this moment in time. It could be someone who's picked up an injury against Mitchell. Someone said Donald Love can't play because he's cup tied. Is that correct?
He was on loan somewhere, wasn't he?
True. I read that the other day on Twitter. I don't know how true that actually is. But yeah, no, I was told something to do with
stuff
a cup
on
tie.
Twitter.
Look, I believe what I see all
the
time.
Throw a team out. You can.
Let's throw a team out there then. I will go against that and I'll ignore that. We'll go Romero in goal. We'll go in defence. We'll go with Love. We'll go Smalling. We'll go McNair. We'll go Blind. And then in midfield, look, I don't know if Schneiderlin was fit. Why didn't he start on Thursday? I don't know why. So I'm going to go Carrick and Schneiderlin in the middle of the park. And then obviously we'll put the three behind the striker. Let's go with, on the right, let's go Lingard, Mata, Martial, and Keane up front.
Nice. So Will Keane gets to start, yeah?
Will Keane gets to start.
Josh, what's your 11?
I'm not 100% sure who's available. It's just been one of them sort of weeks where people are getting injured and sort of flying about. So I think that Romero, obviously, now depending on, I guess Donald Love will start if he's available. Otherwise, I've got no clue who's going to come in there, to be honest.
I might get a call up.
Then you probably go with Chris Smalling, Daley Blind. I'd play Borthwick Jackson. He's available, right?
Yeah.
Or he's not? Yeah, he's available. Fine. Yeah. So that's the back four. Central midfield. Schneiderlin and Carrick works for me. But in the front four, that's where I'd sort of change it up a bit. I'd still I'd keep Martial on the left. I'd bring in Pereira. I think I'd like to see him from the start. I just want to see what he's about. I've seen him a few times in reserves or under 21s, and I like him, but I'm unsure as to whether he can actually genuinely make that step up. He looked good in the under 20s World Cup as well.
Yeah.
So I just want to see what he's about in the first team a bit more. On the right, Jesse Lingard. Up front, I'd bring in Memphis. Sort of the one, I just want give him a run of games. Maybe he'll bag another goal, bring that confidence in. And, you know, he's not looked great out wide. He's sort of been a bit better through the middle. And I think, you know, and Martial's been very effective down that left-hand side. So I wouldn't want to change that up. So I'd like to see him, maybe that type of formation, bit of a mix there of youth, and you just try and build Depay's confidence, really.
I agree with that. I think Memphis in the last 2 months, whenever he came on as a sub before against Sunderland, he actually looked like he had a bit between his teeth and he wanted to try and make an impact, but just looks like the confidence has all been sucked out of him, and you've got a feel for him. He's in a new league. He's a young lad. I know he doesn't, you know, he makes it difficult for himself with, but he's got, that's, you know, oh man. Anyway.
He's a world-class player. He should be performing. He costs more than Shrewsbury Town is worth. And he should be performing.
The town, not the football club.
The football club, yeah, more than the football club. Yeah. It costs more than the football club's probably worth.
Right, Connor, who should we fear from Shrewsbury Town? We've heard some funny names. Knight Percival, whatever his name is, sounds like he has a butler.
Bicycle kick the other week. Brilliant. They did.
Yeah. Who should we fear?
Probably our front three. I think they're in fantastic form. You've got Andy Mangan, who we let go at the start of the season and then re-signed back. I know completely. He's all been everywhere with Mickey Mellon, our manager. He was at Fleetwood when Jamie Vardy was there. He was Jamie Vardy's striker partner. But he's quick. He will just run and run and run and run. And obviously United like to play it out the back and stuff like that, he'll be the one chasing that ball down constantly. The other one, Akpro, is probably more of our target man up there. League One, there's a lot of long balls in it. It's not nicely done on the floor. So he'll be the one, if those long balls are going up, he'll be the one it's going down to. He's very skillful, loves to take on people, and he's very quick and very strong. And then normally behind them, if we play this, they play 5-3-2. It'll be Sean Wally sat behind them. Now he's at the start of the season, Shrewsbury fans were absolutely slating him because he'd come from non-league. No one knew who he was. He'd been with Mickey Mellon everywhere. No one really wanted him.
I love that name, Mickey Mellon.
And he hasn't. He didn't play really for the first half of the season, but he is absolutely rapid. And once he's got the ball, all he does is get his head up and wants to run at people. So if United's defence backs off, he's just going to keep running and running and running. And he's scored and he's got assists in every game he's played since coming back. He got a goal. He got a goal and assist the other week against Blackpool. Mangan got a goal last week as well too. I think they're the ones to fear. And also, we've got arguably one of the best goalkeepers in League One, I think, in Jason Mooflyer. Another weird.
You've got a lot of good players considering you're 19th in League One.
We lost our two best players at the start of the season. We lost Ryan Woods.
You signed one of them back again, right?
No, no. There was Ryan Woods, who's gone to Brentford, and Connor Goldson. And now, when I'm going to say the prices, you're just going to laugh, because Connor Goldson was about $1 million. Ryan Woods is about $1 million. And to United, that'll be like, that's someone's wages. But to Shrewsbury, that's bought us a whole new training facility, a whole new community centre, and hopefully they'll invest some more money into the club. But that's kept our club afloat. This game alone is going to make the club $500,000 to $1 million, which is going to pay the whole players' wages for the season, which is fantastic.
You think you're going to take us to a replay? Or
so.
Even better?
It would be amazing to go to Old Trafford to watch Shrewsbury play and win. Yeah, it would be amazing. It really would. But honestly, I'm really confident.
Louis got to go now. Look what he's done.
I'm not scared. And I don't think there's a Shrewsbury fan out there. Oh, it's probably a minority, but there's not a Shrewsbury fan out there that goes, I don't think you can win. We're going to get battered. I really do think we can do it. I really do.
Right then, prediction time. Ben, prediction.
I want to cry. Well, if listening to what Connor just said, Shrewsbury are the best team in the world. We're going to get thumped 4-0, but I can't see it happening.
Our season's been absolutely mad, it has. Absolutely mad. Like I was saying before, we can go and beat top of the league, and then we go and lose 3-0 to someone around us.
Because you did get a good result against Sheffield Wednesday recently, who have beaten a lot of big teams in the FA Cup. So,
yeah.
Prediction time then, guys. So, Ben, what's your prediction for the game? Are you as negative as Connor is confident?
Well, I was going to say, so hearing what Connor just said then, Shrewsbury are the best team in the world. We're going to get stuffed 4-0. But no, I'm going to rein it in. Actually, seeing as Connor's so confident and we're not as confident, I'm actually going to put out a surprise stuffing out the bag. I'm going to go 3-1 United. And we're going to get yeah. Well, that is the stuffing nowadays, isn't it? I'm going to go 3-1 United and I'm going to get a hat-trick from Martial just to prove what a guy he is. For the Shrewsbury fans.
Probably end up being, it'll start off what we're used to, I think, a bit insipid and a bit rubbish and a bit slow, but eventually Martial will turn it on. I mean, I love him. I think he's going to be world class. He's phenomenal. I think while Shrewsbury sound like they've got some players that can cause us back.
They will. Oh, really?
I have issue. Martial. He will cause the best problems. So I think he will be the difference. And Memphis, I think, will grab a goal. He seems to be, when he's playing up front, gets one. I don't think it'll be a massive stuffing, but I think eventually, with just better fitness and better just quality, eventually will run out. But I thought that about Midgetland, so I don't know.
One thing about Marshall, before I go on, like, that guy is just, they say every cloud is a silver lining, and watching him this season has just been a pleasure because he plays, like, the way that our whole team's been playing, he just goes against that. And he plays off the cuff, and absolutely love him. I hope we don't lose
Tony.
him. Connor, what's your score prediction?
My prediction? I'll remind you back to the MK Dons game a few years ago.
You don't have to go that far back to find.
I could easily see a 4-0. I could easily see that again. But it's not your typical League One side. Our pitch is really good, so it's going to suit United's play. That's the only thing I'm worried about. It's not a bobbly pitch. It's a great pitch. But I can see a 2-1 Shrewsbury.
Oh, right.
90th minute, Andy Mangan header.
I'm going to be negative, and just hope that I'm wrong, because that's what usually happens. I'm going to say 1-1. I was going to a replay. But I'm doing that on purpose. It's reverse psychology, guys. So that's us, guys, done. Thank you to Joshy, aka at Busby MUFC, Ben, and Connor, our resident Shrewsbury fan. Cheers, mate. And make sure you subscribe to Full Time Devils, like, share, get involved in the debate below. Don't just put LVG out in there. Put something clever and try and get the conversation going. And we will see you later.
Hi guys, Mac here at Full Time Devils. This is our vlog to Denmark. We're going to see Midtjylland versus Manchester United in the Europa League in Denmark. Follow us.